They were icons of glamour, grace, and screen-perfect beauty. The tuxedos were pressed, the gowns sparkling, the lighting just right. For audiences sitting in darkened theaters, the stars of Hollywood's golden age seemed like gods, untouchable, flawless, and above all, pristine. But here's the thing the movies couldn't show you. The camera may add 10 pounds, but it hides the stench. Beneath the glitz of red carpets and the dazzle of black and white close-ups, many of the era's most beloved stars carried secrets, and some of them reeked. From rotting teeth and unwashed bodies to chemical hair experiments and deodorant phobia, the dark side of Golden Age Hollywood wasn't just scandalous, it was smelly. Some actors bathed in perfume instead of water. Others terrified their co-workers with halitosis, and still others refused to clean their clothes ever. So grab your popcorn, but maybe hold your nose, because today we're diving into the surprising, disturbing, and downright rank hygiene habits of Hollywood's most beloved legends. No fictional scenes, no tabloid gossip, just the real, documented facts behind the silver screen's most fragrant mysteries. This is Golden Age Hollywood Stars with Bad Hygiene, and it was worse than you think. And believe us, it really was. Clark Gable, the king of bad breath. But king as Hollywood came with a royal stench. Clark Gable was a towering symbol of masculinity. From Gone with the Wind to It Happened One Night, audiences swooned over his deep voice and devilish grin. But according to multiple accounts, getting close to Gable was no romantic fantasy. Gable wore false teeth, and not just because of age. He'd suffered from chronic gum infections and dental decay due to poor hygiene earlier in life. By the time he was a major star, much of his original dentition was gone. The issue? He rarely cleaned his dentures. Co-star Vivien Leigh, who shared those iconic Gone with the Wind kisses with him, reportedly dreaded the close-ups. According to the book Gable and Lombard by Warren G. Harris, Leigh found Gable's breath so disgusting that she would gag between takes. He also had a habit of drinking heavily and smoking, which didn't help. But because he was the man's man, tall, rugged, adored, no one dared say anything publicly. Off-screen, though, it was a very different story. Joan Crawford, cleanliness to the point of madness. You either entered her home as a guest or as a disinfectant. While some stars ignored hygiene altogether, Joan Crawford went in the opposite direction. The star of Mildred Pierce and Whatever Happened to Baby Jane was obsessed with cleanliness to a disturbing degree. According to her adopted daughter, Christina Crawford, who wrote the infamous memoir Mummy Dearest, Joan would scrub the bathroom herself multiple times a day. She used rubbing alcohol to clean not just surfaces, but her own skin. And bleach? It was practically her perfume. Crawford forced visitors to wash their hands as soon as they entered her home. And not just casually. Guests were required to use nail brushes, antibacterial soap, and follow a strict drying protocol. One guest described it as being processed at a sanitarium. Her overuse of bleach also affected her skin and clothes. She reportedly ruined multiple outfits by dousing them with disinfectant in her washing machine. Ironically, her obsession with cleanliness may have stemmed from insecurity. She'd grown up poor and worked hard to erase any trace of her past. Crawford was hygienic, no doubt, but pleasant to be around, not always. Errol Flynn, Hollywood's filthiest heartthrob, he had charm, charisma, and reportedly the body odor of a locker room. Errol Flynn was the swashbuckling star of Captain Blood, Robin Hood, and many more. On screen, he was seductive, fearless, irresistible. Off-screen, people said you could smell him coming. Flynn was a known womanizer. His affairs were the stuff of legend, but so was his lack of hygiene. He rarely bathed, was indifferent to laundry, and allegedly kept the same clothes on for days. His personal yacht was known as a floating den of hedonism and filth. According to various biographies, co-stars complained about his smell. He sometimes tried to cover it with cologne, but it was like spraying perfume on a garbage fire. As one set assistant anonymously put it, in fact, his hygiene was so bad that makeup artists often had to apply powder to his body just to dull the visible sweat and shine during filming. And yet, fans never suspected a thing. Errol Flynn was proof. If you're charming enough, you can get away with just about anything, even skipping soap. Marlon Brando, a genius and a grimy one, he brought method acting and bad hygiene into the mainstream. By the 1950s and 60s, Marlon Brando had revolutionized acting with his raw, naturalistic performances in films like A Streetcar Named Desire and On the Waterfront. But co-stars and directors often had to hold their breath, literally. Brando became infamous for showing up barefoot, shirtless, and unbathed. During the filming of Apocalypse Now, he was reportedly impossible to direct, not only due to his mood swings, but because of his smell. Even earlier, on the set of Guys and Dolls, Frank Sinatra reportedly referred to him as the stinker. Brando was also known for refusing to wear deodorant, claiming it was unnatural. In some roles, he argued that being dirty helped the performance. Method acting, it seems, didn't include showers. Despite complaints from cast and crew, his genius as an actor kept him protected. But behind the scenes, his odor was Hollywood legend. Jean Harlow, a bleached beauty in pain. Her hair was platinum. Her scalp was suffering. Jean Harlow was the original blonde bombshell. Her icy white hair became her signature and inspired countless imitators. But it came at a terrible cost. To achieve that iconic shade, Harlow used a lethal cocktail of ammonia, Clorox bleach, and Lux soap flakes applied weekly. This was before the days of safer dyes and treatments. As a result, her hair became brittle, her scalp raw. Her hair reportedly began to fall out in patches. There's no conclusive proof that the hair treatments caused her early death at age 26, but many biographers believe they at least contributed to her declining health. Makeup artists and stylists often had to wear gloves when working with her hair. Not because of glamour, but to protect themselves from the chemicals. Her look was stunning. Her reality, pure chemical torture. Greta Garbo, she wanted to be alone, probably so no one noticed the smell. Greta Garbo was mystery incarnate. She gave the world unforgettable performances in Camille, Ninotchka, and Anna Karenina. But she also gave off something else, a distinct odor. According to biographers and those close to her, Garbo refused to use deodorant or perfumes. She believed they were unnatural and could disrupt the body's chemistry. The result? She often smelled musky, especially under the hot lights of the studio. Her wardrobe was equally infamous. Garbo was known to wear the same clothes for days, sometimes weeks at a time without washing them. She saw laundry as a modern inconvenience, preferring to air her garments out on windowsills rather than clean them. Despite this, people admired her eccentricity. That's just Garbo, they'd say. In the mythos of Hollywood, it almost became part of her charm. You might be wondering, how did these stars get away with it? Why weren't they called out, confronted, or cancelled? The truth is, hygiene in the early 20th century wasn't what it is today. Deodorants only became widely available in the 1930s. Even then, many people, especially those influenced by naturalist movements or European traditions, considered them unnecessary or even dangerous. Dental care was expensive and not widely prioritized. Many grew up with poor oral hygiene and simply accepted bad teeth or breath as normal. And then, of course, there's Hollywood itself. The film industry was built on illusion. Studio lighting, soft focus, and perfect costuming could hide a lot, as long as the audience didn't get too close. On screen, everyone looked immaculate. Off screen, they were just people, and not always the cleanest ones. In fact, some stars were so powerful or beloved that even if they smelled bad, no one would dare speak up. Charm, fame, and money were stronger than any soap. Hollywood's golden age gave us stories that shaped generations. The beauty, the romance, the drama, all perfectly packaged for mass adoration. But behind every close-up was a little distance. Enough distance to hide the smell. Whether it was Clark Gable's breath, Jean Harlow's chemical scalp, or Errol Flynn's aversion to water, the truth is simple. Perfection is a myth. Even the most dazzling stars had flaws, some of them odor-based. And maybe that's the real takeaway. These stars weren't gods. They were human, messy, sweaty, insecure. Sometimes smelly, just like the rest of us. So next time you're watching an old classic and sighing over the glamour of it all, take a moment to remember, the real drama wasn't always in the script. Next time you watch a classic film, remember, the real drama wasn't on screen, it was in the air. If you liked this video, don't forget to subscribe for more untold stories from Hollywood's glamorous and not so glamorous past.